After last week's crypto debacle, it made me realize I had to be smart about this, and I couldn't just think it was going to work, right? It's not a fairy tale when you get into this realm, and there's thought and calculated decisions that you have to make. So I started doing a lot of research into the market I'm involved in, being crypto. What is it? What's blockchain? What are these different currencies? Why are there so many of them? And it turns out that it's actually kind of simple and super complex at the same time. So blockchain's this concept that it's like an adding machine. All right, every time you use an adding machine, the next part that you tally gets printed out on that piece of paper. Blockchain works the same exact way. Every time there's a transaction, it goes on the blockchain. So blockchains are validated with different processes. And proof of work, proof of stake, there's a handful of them. Not super up to date on these, but I'm reading and I'm learning. And different blockchains offer developers different options. So it would kind of be like making an app. The app that the software you use to develop the app could influence the outcome of the app to an extent. The platform you put the app on would make the biggest difference, right? If I develop an app for my iPhone, I can't put the same thing on Android. I'd have to do some conversions in it, and there's different programming and different languages that you have to use for all this. Crypto is kind of the same concept. So the biggest blockchains people know are Bitcoin and Ethereum. And on Ethereum, for instance, there's more than one crypto. Ethereum is the native one. So then other developers can come in and they can put their own crypto, they can put their own currencies, they can put their own programs, they can put their own outreaches onto an Ethereum blockchain and use the Ethereum technology. So being a native blockchain is valuable in the sense that everyone's using your software. It's like Apple developing an app for themselves, but everyone can use it. But at the same time, someone else can come along, use Apple software, use Apple firmware, and put an app on this thing. So one of the things that I kept coming across in this exploration of blockchains, which I could be 100% wrong on, but I think I have a decent grasp of it, is speed. And I asked myself, obviously speed's an important factor, but what's it really make a difference for? The reality is, speed is how many transactions you can commit in a certain amount of time. Well, Ethereum is really slow. So I thought, that doesn't seem great. And if I'm putting money into this, I want to kind of be in the best position I can be in. And I came to find out Solana is probably, in my opinion at least, going to overtake Ethereum at some point. Solana right now operates about 5 to 7 times faster than the Ethereum blockchain. They can process somewhere around 15 transactions a second, whereas Ethereum's processing about 2, maybe 3. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's huge. Think about the bandwidth that they offer. Now, Solana is, being another blockchain, they have various cryptocurrencies on them. I don't want to go into what they all are. It doesn't matter. You can look it up. That's super easy. But what I'm interested in here are the native ones. Solana has a native crypto. Right now it's sitting around $150 a coin. They peaked somewhere around $260. So they're somewhere around, 60% of their all-time high. But they seem to have the want to do better. And they seem to have the drive to do better. Whereas Ethereum, although they're developing more, and apparently Ethereum 2 is going to resolve a lot of these issues that Ethereum 1 is experiencing, I don't know. They don't seem as into it as Solana does. Solana seems a little bit more cutting edge. It's kind of the, are you going to buy a Prius or are you going to buy a Tesla? Yeah, they're both hybrid. Well, they're not both hybrids, but same concept. What's the value that you're looking for? And if you're going to get involved in a brand or an industry, I think you have to have a good understanding of what it is you're looking at so you can compare apples to apples. So out of this panic that I watched myself go through last week, I realized it was because I wasn't educated enough in it. And I kind of went into it with that fairy tale aspect, thinking I just put money in and money grows. There's no such thing as free lunch. And I learned that. Now, when I started this, I put into it sort of okay with what I'd be losing. So if everything was gone, I knew that was the risk I'd take. But then I got that little bit of addiction going, and I realized that's not good enough. I'm into this and I'm going to commit to it, and I want to do it. And I don't hobby things well. I go all in, super, super absorbed into almost everything I do. This was no different. So I do the deep dive, and I realize this is really stressful, right? I'm getting headaches, my back starts to hurt, and I realize this also isn't healthy. The key to me, the issue I had was I had no discipline, right? I realized I had no education, so I decided I'm going to fix that, and I realized I had no discipline, and I was just constantly on it looking for the next big thing. I realized that's not my goal. My goal isn't to find the next big thing that blows up in 30 seconds. It's the next thing that maintains its lifespan through 30 years, right? Solana to me has everything on the market that it looks like it's going to last 30 plus years. I think it stands ground based on what I know to overtake other cryptos where they are now. Not necessarily at a value point, right? I'm not going to say Solana is ever going to be worth what Bitcoin is, but you look at what they offer, their accessibility. To someone developing programming code, Solana is an accessible option for them. Now, I don't know what Bitcoin does for this. I should have probably looked that up if I'm being honest. But that's where I start to kick on my air of discipline. What am I doing for my own well-being to make sure that I'm not getting too far into this where it just becomes my life? And I realized that's a side effect of this thing called constant improvement. And I've got this drive to continually do better than what I did last time. And if I don't, I almost feel like I failed. And the issue there is everyone's going to fail, right? Everything's eventually going to hit a point where it's just not doing as well as it was yesterday. Or you go out and you're trying to, for me, it was running, it was riding bikes. It was all these things where I could calculate the time it takes me to do something and then think, I got to do it faster. And I actually got to the point riding bikes for a while, I didn't even enjoy it because I was so competitive to my own time, pushing myself, that I lost the purpose of what it was I was doing. I wanted to be out in the woods, riding bikes, getting dirty on trails. And I got to the point where I was just running time trials all day. And it loses all sense of enjoyment and purpose. And that's not what I was there for. And just like this in crypto, I'm not there for the stress of it. I'm not there for the day trading of it. I'm not there for the quick fairy tale dream of it, that I take $1,000 and I make it $1 million somehow. I'm there to create sustained wealth. And by reminding myself of that, I was able to look at what my goal is, assess it, and begin to make better decisions to reach that goal. One other thing, I realized you don't always have to make the biggest win back to back. And for myself, at least, I've realized I've been able to look at smaller victories as a piece of the big victory. Understanding there's ups and downs, and I'm okay with that. And I'm actually kind of proud of myself that I was able to realize I don't always have to be at win status. As long as I'm doing the best I can and putting as much into it as I can, and asking myself not how far I'm willing to go, but how much further than someone else am I willing to go. And I'm doing that every day. I can go to bed proud of what I did that day. That's what I got for this week. I got some pretty cool episodes coming up, I think. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time.